Hello, my name is Lorraine Garvey of District 32, and I have got the absolute privilege of having a conversation with Greg Maguire of Absolute Insurance. How are you, Greg?
I'm great, Lorraine. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
So, Greg, tell us, what is Absolute Insurance? So this is for business owners who might not understand the differences in the service provision of insurance. Could you just outline, tell us what it is that you do in a nutshell?
Oh, look, basically, there's two kinds of insurance. You've got your personal insurances, which is what I do, which is your life insurance, income protection, trauma cover, TPD, which is total permanent disablement, and also key person insurance, which is not to be confused with general insurance, which is your car insurance, third-party insurance, house and contents, those sort of things.
Okay. How long have you been doing that, Greg?
Well, I used to be a school teacher, so I threw that in 1997 and then started doing different types of career moves which were not fantastic, and then ended up doing this, which is a complete transformation from what I was doing with dealing with kids. Okay. Now I'm dealing with older kids, as in like 30 plus, and I've been doing that since 1997.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I understand and I appreciate the value of having those insurances and having peace of mind for my daughter and also for myself, if the inevitable happens, or we get caught out with things and we think, she'll be right and we'll be okay. How often do you see, how common is it that people get caught out without the correct personal insurances in place? Do you think most people are on top of it these days, or is there still a massive gap?
There's a huge gap. The Australian government has often done reviews on the lack of personal insurance throughout the country. And there's roughly 75% of Australians are not insured. So it really leaves 25% of them insured properly. And it's one of those things where the underinsurance is a huge mess, which needs to be taken care of. But unfortunately, with all the education and red tape and that which involves people within my industry, has actually seen a lot of good advisors, leave the industry in droves because of the unnecessary red tape and that associated with it. So as a result of that, means there are less advisors advising in the life insurance area, and it means that less people have the chance to actually get to see someone like myself to actually get their problems and that sorted out.
I think it's really interesting. Back in the day when I was an employee, 10 minutes ago, I'm trying to say I'm younger, I'm not. But back in the day, there's just all these professions that exist that I had no idea even existed. I had no idea that you could have these different insurances, in place, and it wasn't until I'm in the world of business that you realize there's all these different service providers who can help you. I think. Well, for me, there was a gap there because I didn't know anything about it until I was in business.
Oh, look, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was 40 when I left teaching and started this. And up until that stage, I thought, because I had long service leave, which was like 6 months, that if anything happened to me, I would be fine. And then I had an insurance person say to me, well, what happens after 6 months? And I couldn't answer him. I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, that's why you have income protection, to give you peace of mind that if something does happen to you long term and you've used up your sick leave and you've used up your long service leave, at least you've got that opportunity to have the income protection in place, which will provide you with an income while you're still unable to work. Something like 95% of claims are all sorted out in the first 5 years. It's really long-term claims, which only make up 3% of all claims that last longer than 5 years. But at least it gives you that peace of mind that if you have got an income protection policy for a 2-year benefit period or 5-year benefit period or to age 65, then at least you've got that there to help you get through those financial difficulties.
Absolutely. And then also, we think we just think nothing's going to happen to us. I think you offer the trauma insurance as well. Do you offer trauma insurance as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, if something happens to you and, God forbid you had cancer or something that you had to go through chemo and go for a year, then that's another kind of insurance that you can have that can help you with that.
Well, your trauma covers, your trauma covers the big three: your heart attack, your cancer, your stroke. And interestingly enough, most of the claims that I'm dealing with at the moment are around trauma. And funnily enough, are actually involving mostly men in their 50s, early 50s to mid 50s, where they've suffered like prostate cancer, those sort of things. And that's where the payment comes in to actually get them to actually get back on track and pay their medical bills and all those sort of things. So look, the insurances are there. They're there to cover people. A lot of people, as you said, quite rightly, you know, they think they're bulletproof. And I was one of them. Luckily, I haven't had anything happen to me seriously, but if there was something to happen, then I've got my own personal insurances in place that I can draw upon if need be. I've got my wife covered. I've got my sons covered as well. So obviously, the younger you are, the cheaper the premiums. You can have your superannuation pay for it. If you have that in place, that can give you a good way of paying for your insurances. You get 15% discount, pay yearly, you get another 8% discount. So there's ways and means of making the insurance cheaper to suit your needs and what you need to do.
I think it's just so important. And there's not one area you can say, you know, you have to get this done first or that one. You know, it's the range. If you're going to be covered, you know, be covered.
Yeah. Well, look, let's face it. I mean, really, the two big things you want to get covered are your income and your life. You don't want to leave your family in debt. And a $400,000 policy, which would clear most mortgages or at least make a significant dent in it, is not all that expensive. But that's usually the one that is the most needed. And again, I've had clients who have claimed on the life insurance policy when their partner has unfortunately passed away. And there's different circumstances as to why they pass away, which we won't go into here because it's not really the forum for it. But basically, the insurance was in place. Once the partner went, the other partner was able to clear all the debts and have enough funds left over to maintain some sort of lifestyle for their family to continue. So all in all, it was worthwhile for them to have the insurance in place. But I've also had people who have cancelled their policies, and as certain as A follows B, follows C, follows D, going through, something happens down the track. I had a young lady who cancelled her life insurance. The next month got cancer. Next month after that died, and left a grieving husband and a young child, and all for the sake of $30 a month.
Wow.
So there you go.
Greg, I'm going to ask you how people can get in contact with you, but just before we do, what do you love most about this job? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
It's helping people like us. It's helping people. It's really just getting down to, look, it's really just meaning, look, insurance agents have got a reputation for being smarmy, for being sort of greedy and out for themselves and all that sort of thing. The situation's changed dramatically. We're not allowed to do that by law. I am not going to put my license at risk by trying to be sneaky or by doing things the wrong way. So what we try and do is we try and match the client with the insurances that they need. And the ones that they need the most are the life insurance and the income protection. They can get in contact with me via the internet, via my phone, which is 041 794 1296, email. There's a whole range of ways that you can meet me. My service is where I come out to see you. I can see you at your work or at your home at a time that suits you. I do not offer a fee for service. Mine is paid for by the companies, whichever I find the best solution for you. So that's how I operate.
Beautiful. Thanks very much, Greg. Now I'll put your contact details in the YouTube video so that people can reach you from there easily. But look, Greg, thank you very much. I think it's important that people do know what's available and you can help us to sleep a little bit better at night. So thank you very much for your time.
Look, thank you, Lorraine. It's been a complete pleasure. First time I've ever been interviewed, and you've been lovely. So thank you.
Well, let it be the first of many. Yeah.
Hope so.
Okay, I'll see you later then, Greg.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Bye-bye.
Cheers for that.
Bye.
Bye.